Hello and welcome back to Journey with Rebecca. My name is Rebecca and today I am 2 years sober and I am making a video to celebrate myself and share my story and put it out there for people who may need to hear it and share some inspiration. So I put out a video last year on my 1 year anniversary of being sober, and I blubbered and cried through the whole thing. And I can't promise that I'm not going to cry today. I went back and I watched that video today and I cried. And I took a few notes of things that maybe I had forgotten about or the updates that I wanted to share. And so here we go. So I'm 2 years sober today, and the past 2 months have been a really hard struggle for me. Not that I've gotten close to breaking my sobriety, but I have wanted a drink so bad. And I have not been able to shake that feeling or even just stop thinking about it. And I know that it's not good to dwell on things like that, and then I should just put those things out of my mind. But it's just been so hard. It's been such a struggle. And I'm not really sure why. I think part of it has to do with the fact that it's summertime and I want to hang out and have a beer or have a drink. And I can't responsibly do that. It is not something that I am able to do. I just can't have one beer. I have to go to the extreme all the time, which is why I had to stop drinking in part. So it's been a really hard struggle. I think I've struggled more in the past 2 months than I did the entire first year of being sober, which is weird and unexpected and not something that I would think that I would be having to deal with. By the way, if you haven't gone and watched my first video, go ahead and check that out. This is the first time I've really had shared my story with anyone, which I think was why it was so emotional for me. The fact that I was so proud of myself, and I still am so proud of myself. I was not expecting all of the emotion that I felt. After I put out that first video, I had so many people reach out to me that I hadn't spoken to, some of them since high school, telling me either they were struggling themselves and they were so glad that they were able to watch my video and could relate to me, or people who had family members who are struggling and needing help, and it just really warmed my heart to know that other people could relate. And so I use this app called I Am Sober. It's an app you can get right on your phone, and it helps you track your sobriety. You can do it for drugs, alcohol, whatever you need. And it has a ton of capabilities and functions, and the only thing I ever do is I make a pledge every day to be sober, and then I review at the end of the day how it was. I don't use any of the other capabilities, but I got a notification this morning saying, you've reached a milestone, let's review. And I never do anything like that. But I took a look today, and there were tons of stories of other people on there who were sharing their 2 years of sobriety as well. And it was like, oh gosh, this is crazy. So many times I feel like I'm alone in this journey, even though I know that I'm not. But it was so heartwarming to see other people's stories too, and knowing wow, I really am not alone in this. And I know I'm not alone. My husband is sober. He's just been sober for a lot longer than I have. He's going on his 27th year this year, and he was also a drug and alcohol counselor for over 20 years. So when I say I feel alone, I'm not. Sometimes, and especially lately, I don't want to lean on him for support or even really talk to him about what I'm struggling through, because I don't want him to put his counselor hat on. I want him to put his husband hat on. And he's a very logical and rational person, and I'm not. And I think irrationally about drinking sometimes, and he will always bring a rational thought process to it, which sometimes I'm really just not looking for. And I'm I need you to talk to me as my husband, not as a counselor, because it's not rational. These are not rational thoughts that I'm having, but I like to sit with them sometimes and have the irrational thought and not have logic or a counseling aspect being put into my thought process. I've really taken some time to think about it recently, and to think about the fact that the struggle that I'm having right now is way better than the struggle I would be having if I were drinking right now. I think back to the days where I would be so upset with myself and be so filled with guilt and shame about the fact that I had this problem that I felt that I couldn't overcome. So I know that me having a bad week or even a bad day because I'm struggling with wanting to have a drink is nothing compared to what it would be if I were to break my sobriety and the feelings that I would feel then. And if that has happened to you, then I'm sure you know that it's probably a very hard struggle. I know people that have broken their sobriety, and then the guilt and the shame and the embarrassment and how down they get on themselves. So I know that would be way worse than the feelings that I'm having right now. In my last video and in other videos that I've put out in the past, I talked about how while I was heavily drinking, I was trying to get off of my depression and anxiety meds, and what a nightmare of a mess that was. And since then, I have actually successfully gotten off of those medications, and I'm not here to say stop taking them if you need them. Absolutely take them if you need them. For me, it was not something that I wanted to have a part of my life anymore. I've struggled with depression most of my life, and I just want to fight that fight without the help of medication for my own personal reasons. So I had been taking depression medications for a very, very long time. 16 years, maybe plus, on and off, but consistently for the past probably 16 or 13 years. I can't quite remember. It doesn't matter. They don't talk to you about how hard it's going to be to come off of those medications once you've been on them, especially for a long period of time, and it was awful. I felt horrible, and physically and mentally and emotionally, it was just a huge roller coaster. Physically, though, the brain zaps that you deal with when you're coming off of a medication like that and going through withdrawals is really, really awful. And I didn't think that it felt like it was never going to end. For at least a month, I had these brain zaps, and it was awful. But I have successfully been off of them for months now, and I do have days where I struggle, but that is something that I've accomplished and that I'm really proud of. I really have come so far in the past year, and watching that video back just made me realize how far I really have come and what a strong person I really am. I've had to dig down deep, and I've been able to do that and be successful at remaining sober. I quit my job that was making me miserable, and I found a job that I absolutely love, and I've continued to grow my YouTube channel and create content that makes me happy to share with other people. And all in all, things are pretty good. I do have hard days, and I do struggle, as anyone who is sober, I'm sure, knows. But so I've continued the tradition of purchasing myself flowers to celebrate myself. And I work on a farm now, and the woman who works over at the flower stand made me these beautiful bouquet. I asked specifically for her to make a special one for me, and she did not disappoint. It's so beautiful. But I'm just taking this time to celebrate myself and celebrate my accomplishments and how far I've come, and I hope in sharing this it helps inspire other people to just keep going. So I think that's all for today. I just wanted to share and celebrate myself. So stay tuned. I have a ton of great upcoming videos that I am working on, and I will see you then. I did that without crying. I can't believe it. I'm so proud of myself. I'm sure I'm not done crying yet today, though, because I'm a big baby. Also, I didn't get to say everything I wanted to say. Thank you to my husband and my kids and everyone who continues to support me. I love you. Goodbye.